Hey there. Guys, I've been saying toddler with a Sharpie for years. And, my 6-year-old with a Sharpie is what took over last night. If you missed it, go to my profile. Not right now, but soon.
It was a real doozy. It could have been much worse. Could have been much worse.
I
Teresa!
saw your profile,
Okay.
and I could not.
I'm telling the picture. I'm telling the story of the toddler with the Sharpie.
Go ahead.
For 2 reasons. Number one, because I have literally taken Sharpies away from Dean, like more times than I can count on both hands. I keep hiding them, and he keeps finding new ones. I don't even know where. We don't even have that many Sharpies. It's like he comes home from school with a Sharpie or something. And a couple of months ago, he did a Sharpie all over my wood table, my kitchen table, my wood table. And I was like, Dean, we don't use Sharpies ever. Like, Sharpies are not a pen that you're allowed to use. And so I just thought that we were good at that point. And then caught him with the Sharpie last week. And I was like, Dean, remember, these are the pens that you're not allowed to use. But he loves them. And it's like he sniffs them out from under couches and beds. It's like a dog to meet.
A dog.
And oh my gosh. And then last night, I'm like, I'm just about ready to go to bed. I'm sitting on the couch and Sean walks out and he's like, honey, we have a Mayday situation and I don't feel like I want to tell you. I think you should come see it. And I was like, I'm really tired. Like, I don't really want to play games. He's like, you have to see it.
No way around this one.
And then I walked in and just saw and saw and saw. And then the funniest part was this morning, because Sean got him up to go to school and he took off all his clothes, put new underwear on, new clothes. And on his legs, he wrote his name, Dean, and then did a little art piece on the other leg. And so I'm like, you didn't take a picture? I mean, I would have grabbed the camera and taken a picture. He's like, I didn't take a picture. So I'm hoping that when he walks home from school, I'm just going to be like, strip down. I need to see.
It will definitely be there. Oh, that little stinker. What are you going to do?
I don't. I mean, I just feel like we have to go on a Sharpie killing streak. We're going to need to round them all up and throw them away, and none of us are going to be allowed to have a Sharpie. And it's sort of like what happened with slime. I tried to be the fun mom for a couple of years with slime back when Mackenzie and Chase were like kindergarten, preschool age. And I was like, I'm a fun mom. Fun moms do slime. We'll do slime. And people were like making them at parties and they had glitter. And we're like, oh yeah, slime's so fun. I love slime. Slime's great. And then it was like slime in the carpet, slime in the hair, slime in the sheets. And I was like, slime is illegal. It's not allowed in our house.
Right.
And now Sean and I have a no slime policy. Can't even walk through the door. So that's going to be Sharpies, I think.
Same thing with silly putty, because my kids are 30 years old. So back in the day, silly putty was a thing. 5th grade pictures. I go and wake Nick up for school. 5th grade pictures. And he's got a chunk of hair missing right here. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, what? And I'm like, honey, you can't just, miss a chunk of hair and not tell mom what happened. And he's like, what? Do you think they'll notice? I had silly putty and I fell asleep with it in my hand and it got in my hair. And I'm like, oh, honey, time for a buzz cut. It was like, no more.
Oh, see, when I was growing up, it was gack. I remember our parents outlawed gack. And it was really I would say it was like silly putty and slime got married and had a baby. That would be gack. Right. It's like, and we used to throw it up on the ceiling and it would stain the ceiling. And so my stepmom was just like, no more
Yep.
cack. Cack is
Yep.
out. And so she takes great joy in watching me go through all these things because she's like, yep,
Yep.
you're getting yours. You're getting yours.
When they-
That's what you get.
Love it when they say that. And
I know.
I'm not going to say that. We'll see.
Well, please don't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it to my kids. I'm just deciding right now I'm not going to say
That's
that.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Right. Okay. So the funniest thing though is I did a podcast episode years ago. Like I have a podcast from, I don't know, back in like I think it was 2019 called And All the Good Things. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, something's got to go.
Right.
A lot of things went. It was one where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. One of the episodes that I recorded that a lot of people happen to remember because they messaged me this morning. They were like, no, Toddler with a Sharpie. This is so funny. You totally did a podcast about this. Because one of the things, this is before I even got into life coaching or anything. And I did a podcast about how when you let your mind run wild, you are like a toddler with a Sharpie drawing all over the place. And you're like, why am I so unhappy? Why am I not getting anything done? And I'm like, because you need to put the lid on your Sharpie. You're just making a huge mess. And it was so funny this morning because everybody in my DMs was like, toddler with a Sharpie. I remember that podcast episode.
So true. So true.
Yeah. Yes. And it's like, I've been telling people, I'm so jealous for those of you that are just finding out about thought coaching right now, because it is the greatest thing that will happen to you in your life outside of learning about God and Jesus Christ. I promise.
Before
it's
call.
Yeah.
What I was thinking.
Yes. It's one of those things.
I'm 59 years old. And what I could have done with thought coaching back when my kids were little, and not feeling all this mom guilt and not being I felt like I had to be the glue to hold the family together. And so I suppressed everything because, they can't see me sad or they can't see me hurt or stressed out because I'm the mom. And that has not served me. I mean, because they thought that I was the person that could hold it all together, and mom can do it. Mom can do anything, but they have to see us go through that as well so that they can learn thought coaching. And it's okay to not have 100% of yourself 100% of the time.
Well, and it's really so fascinating because it's just the human experience, right? We all have 40 to 60,000 thoughts every single day. And we don't realize how much it's affecting us. We just think it's a fact. We're like, oh yeah, I'm just a procrastinator. Yeah. I'm just a tomorrow person. I'm not someone that, a lot of people will tell me, oh, I'm not someone that money comes easy for me. And I'm like, isn't that so interesting? That's just a sentence in your head. We can't prove that in a court of law. And so we know it's just a thought. And all of the feelings that you feel come from your thoughts. Your thoughts create your feelings. So anytime you're feeling irritated, you think it's because your husband left his shoes out and you tripped on them, but it's not. He's just your circumstance. It's your thought that the shoes shouldn't be there, that he should have put them away, that make you feel irritated, that make you puff and puff, clean the whole house in aggravation and irritation. And then your result is, I'm unhappy, or I hurt me, or I derail my entire day. Right? Your thoughts are always going to give you a direct result, right? Anything that you think. And so when you start understanding this, you start learning this, just like you said, you're like, what? I could have made my life so amazing more. But at the same time, what I want to say to anyone that's feeling that way is everything has brought you to where you are right now, and you're exactly where you need to be, right? You're exactly where you need to be, and you are right on pace with where you're supposed to be. And so if you're hearing about it right now, that's because you're supposed to know about it right now, and you weren't supposed to experience it until now. So why did you sign up for my thought coaching
Well,
program, Beyond the Ring?
well, because this last summer when I traveled and I attended a training that you and one of your colleagues put on, you had talked about CTFAR, and I'll let you explain what that is later. But it made me really, it was a mind-blowing experience because I realized that I had become comfortable being comfortable and not pushing myself outside my business or even my personal life. It's okay. We live in small town Iowa. This is my life. The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
They're all thoughts, by the way. She's telling
That's
you
what I learned
thoughts.
at your training. And then I sat there and I was thinking, I have totally told myself that all my life. And so I've started to challenge myself since that training a little bit. And what I found is even at the training, I challenged myself. And even today, right now, Emily asked me to be on this live. A year ago, I would never have talked on Facebook. But I have learned to become, or I'm learning more, to become uncomfortable or to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's how I grow. And so learning how my thoughts have controlled me all my life, I would now like to learn how to put those thoughts in certain buckets and be okay with them. Because it's not necessarily wrong that I have the thoughts, but I now need to know what to do with them. And so that's why I signed up immediately, because I've got all these thoughts and they're all right here. And so I need to put them someplace.
And I love what you said, that it's not wrong that you're thinking them or that you have them. Because a lot of people instantly, they're like, oh yeah, let's shame and judge ourselves. Well, shame and blame. Just put on a layer of judgment. Look at me. Oh my gosh, I'm so horrible. I can't believe I'm thinking this way. Where it's like, when you really dive into this work, you're like, oh, fascinating. Interesting that I did that. Is that what I want to keep doing? No. Okay. Well, what could I believe instead? You know, like what else is available to me?
And one of the things
on
the podcast or on the event that you were talking on, the webinar, was how to sit in the moment. And it's okay to sit in the moment. And I thought about it when you were talking about it, and I thought, well, I don't think I've ever done that because, you know, I've had some tragedy in my life, and I really don't want to sit in that moment. That wasn't a fun time. And so, but maybe I need to grow. I don't know. So that's, you know, I think there's so much to be learned.
Well, and it's so interesting because life is 50% positive and 50% negative, no matter how we slice it. But our lower primitive brain always wants to feel good and happy. It's there to keep us alive, right? It's our brain that hasn't evolved. We have a prefrontal cortex, which is our higher brain, and then we have our lower primitive brain that is from our caveman days, from hundreds of thousands of years ago. And that lower brain, its job is to be super efficient, to seek comfort, to avoid discomfort, seek pleasure, avoid discomfort, and conserve energy.
Okay.
Like that's its purpose, that lower brain. That's the only reason that it's there. And we like it, because when you drive to work every day and you're like, I don't even know how I got here. I was thinking about something totally different. It's also why, like, I had to go pick Brennan up from a friend's house on Thursday night, and I knew that I was supposed to go to my cousin's house because he was at my cousin's house. I drove to our old house in our old neighborhood, and I got there and I'm like sitting outside, and I'm like, Brennan, I'm sitting outside our neighbor's house on that same street. And I'm like, Brennan, come out. I'm out here. He's like, calls me. He's like, Mom, you're at the wrong house. You're not at Aunt Andrea's house. I don't know where you are, but you're not here. And I'm like, I'm sitting in front of Kate's house in our old neighborhood and I laughed. I was like, look what my lower brain just did. It like very efficiently just took me to where I thought it needed to be. It drove home old neighborhood. And so sometimes when you move, especially, or you get a new job or something, you'll find yourself driving to the wrong place, and your brain's like, oh wait, we're not supposed to be here. And that's when your prefrontal cortex, that's the part of your brain that is the most evolved, smartest human brain out of any animal that has ever lived on planet Earth. You have it in your head. I don't care what your IQ is. You are the smartest human brain that has ever lived on planet Earth because you have a prefrontal cortex. And it separates us from the animals because we can think about our own thinking. We can think about ahead of time. And so one of the things that you're probably not doing a lot of if you're not hitting your goals or where you are at, where you want to be in your business, is you're using your lower brain too much and you're not utilizing that upper prefrontal cortex. For example, like deciding 24 hours in advance what you're going to do in your business tomorrow, and then you have to do it. You can't eke out of it. But your lower brain tomorrow is going to be like,
I'm tired.
I can just like watch a show. It just like feels not good to send messages. We better do the laundry.
It keeps you comfortable.
Yeah, that closet needs organizing. Because your brain wants to be 100% happy feelings 100% of the time. And it's impossible to do that. You can't. You cannot fight it because 50% of the time you're going to feel positive, 50% of the time you're going to feel negative. And positive emotions are like comfort, relief, joy, happy, achievement, accomplishment. And then the negative ones are like discomfort, fear, sadness, anxiety,
guilt,
nervous, guilt, shame. Yeah. And anytime that you feel the negative ones, that lower brain is going to take over and be like, get me out of here. And so when you said you're trying to learn to sit in your negative emotions, it's very advanced because it's you understanding and realizing that there is value in just allowing an urge and saying, we're just going to process this emotion that we don't like. I feel scared right now. And where does it's like a vibration in your body. That's all feelings are. They're a vibration in your body, literally releases chemicals to make you feel a certain way. Like when you're nervous, your arms go numb and you're like, you get clammy. Sometimes you'll have a physical response to feelings, right? And it's so powerful when you learn to process the emotion rather than avoid it and do something else to feel positive. Right?
Yes.
So super cool. So what are you most excited about when we start coaching next week, right? We just had the welcome videos and foundational videos to get you started before we start actual coaching next week. I've got the workshop. Even if all you did was the workshop, you guys, like I'm teaching past a month. If that's all you did, you would get your money's worth. But then I'm like, oh, I love to coach. Let's just throw on
the coaching
on top
is crazy because you think that at first I thought, well, I'm really not going to get anything out of the coaching until I listened to even more than one. And you just kind of have to sit back and let your mind think about where that person is, because you all of a sudden you're thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about that person. And the as Emily's talking to you. It is.
It's so magic.
It is, but it is hard at first. For me, it was. I had to just kind of out of myself. And then I started listening to your videos on the way home from Texas, because we drove home from Texas. And what I loved about him was
private member podcast, you guys. You sign up for the program, you get a private member podcast, so that if you're just on the run, on the go, like so many of us are, and you can't sit and watch a video, like who has time to sit in front of a computer and do a program? Nobody. So you can listen to all the recordings on the private member only podcast, and it is gold. Go ahead.
And it doesn't take forever. And I never felt behind. I'm not feeling like I have to start here, because I think you can start anywhere in your program, can't you? Did you?
Oh yeah, you start. Yeah, especially once we start coaching. Like it would probably be advantageous to watch the orientation videos in order and like the foundational videos in order. But after that, like once we start coaching, you could join like in the middle of a call, and it wouldn't even matter, let alone like go in order from 1 to 0, like 1 to 20. It doesn't matter.
Well, I love it. And I just love the fact that it'll work for my business, it'll work for my work, and it will work for me personally.
Yeah. It's so powerful. Okay. If you guys want to sign up, we are starting on Monday. Doors close Friday. You might as well just sign up today. Go to emilygibsoncoaching.com/shop. I'll put it in the comments below. But if you sign up today, you will have results by Friday. That's how, all you have to do is just watch one little 5-minute video and your mind will be blown. And it will be something that will change you as a person by Friday. So just sign up now and get going. And then if you're going to procrastinate, which is just a thought that you're having, that you're a procrastinator, that's fine. We can work on it in coaching next month. But if you're going to wait till Friday, you have to be in by Friday at midnight, because doors are going to close and then you won't be able to get in after that. And then you'll be so sad because all of your friends will be like, the coaching thing is so amazing. Oh my gosh. And you're going to be like, I should have joined. Why didn't I do it?
Yeah.
I know. So thanks for sharing, Teresa. I love you to death. You are such amazing. And I can't wait to like coach you and get into some advanced coaching, because I can tell you're ready for it. So that is just so, so exciting, because we haven't even started yet.
I know. Bring it on. Let's go. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.